Yo, people, so I am about 11 months into being a full time online coach. It was end of August 2024 when I properly started. So, yeah, here are some of my thoughts since then. Firstly, even if it went absolutely terribly, which thankfully it hasn't, I would still actually think it was worth it because you're forced to learn a lot more about everything. You're on your own, so you have no choice. There have been highs and lows, but ultimately, I do believe in my heart that I made the right decision and I can go on this path as long as I can. But I am also aware of the fact that when I did go self employed, I was 24. And I think that was a good time to do it because not many responsibilities, still in my family home. And I felt like I was in a position to take a risk, which didn't even feel like a massive risk because you can get a job in a gym pretty lively if needs be. But thankfully, that hasn't been the case. However, I don't think I was like fully prepared for the complete solo aspect of it. Of course, I knew I was going to be on my own a lot, but I do think it's maybe more than you anticipate because I went from working in a very, very busy gym to being completely on my own. And that's fine. I've adjusted to that and I've done what I've needed to do in terms of, linking up with more people and just making sure I'm not on my own the whole time because I don't think you should be in your 20s really. You should be communicating with people and getting out there and stuff. But yeah, that's just something I learned quickly. And of course, you have doubts. Like in December, I was genuinely having doubts and I was losing motivation, but I realized that is all part of it. An even bigger thing I've realized, and don't get me wrong, I'm nowhere near where I want to be yet, but I think this holds a lot of truth. The people who don't start what they want to do or don't go for it or ultimately just fall short because when times get tougher, they quit. Those are the people who essentially do not succeed. And I've had to remind myself of that, and it's something I will continue to remind myself of because during those times where it felt a lot more difficult or like a slog, you know, if you push through that multiple times, you are only destined to do well, so that's another thing, and I don't mean to sound dramatic there, but it's very, very true. And yeah, you have the back end business stuff which I probably wouldn't have been very well versed on before starting all of this, and I'm still not great, to be fair, but at least it forces you to learn, getting an accountant, sorting your taxes, things like that. It's not fun, but it's worth learning about, and that's good too. And fast forward to 2025, I picked up some momentum. Things definitely started to pick up. Clients were doing well. I didn't stop with the content even when I desperately wanted to. I just didn't. And yeah, I had a really successful kind of couple of months there at the beginning of the year, which definitely gave me a lot of motivation, and I didn't get too carried away. And it's not been perfect all of this year, but that definitely gave me the belief to tell me that, okay, you can actually do this. So the positives, I would say, have outweighed the negatives. And if you have self-belief, honestly, that's most of the battle, and desire, those two things, you can honestly do most of whatever you want. And for me now, I'm not where I want to be yet, as I said, but I don't expect to be after not even a year of doing this properly. But yeah, I'm very optimistic. And I think once you have the fulfillment of knowing that you enjoy what you do and you actually want to continue on that path, I mean, it's a very, very satisfying feeling. So I just need to keep on going now, I guess. By the way, subscribe if you are new here, would massively appreciate it. But yeah, it's just a blessing being able to do this as a living, helping people with their fitness completely online. I do meet up with clients sometimes as well, which is really nice. I had a client meet up in March, which was one of the best days of my life. And yeah, seeing them transform their lives and their physiques is the best feeling ever. Another important thing as well, if you've made it this far, is investing back into yourself. So I realized as I was kind of thinking about making this video, I've probably invested over 10K into my actual like learning and upskilling, which not all of that is good money spent, but the intentions are there, and I just invested heavily into a mentor, which I have no regrets about. I do think it's going to be very, very beneficial for me. But yeah, you just have to keep on learning, and that's another huge factor of being successful, I think. So yeah, hopefully somebody took something from this video. I don't really know why I made this. I suppose it's just a topic that came to mind, which is interesting, I think. I feel like some people could maybe relate to it, whether you're in a similar position to me or you're not started yet or you're struggling, whatever it may be. If you are in Cork or maybe a different county in Ireland, hit me up on Instagram. We can maybe get a session in together. But other than that, thanks, guys. I will see you in the next one. Peace.